Seems like I've got a few ranting videos tonight, to the morning, or whatever. Alright, so, if I got it on DDS Neural X, I think they call it. Yeah, DDS Neural X, right. Now, it kind of, because with each different of their own, I can still hear traces of the front, left and right, but it's like it's passing through another kind of matrix to do the filter out crosstalking, you know what I mean. Whereas with dolby DSU, I can hear the Iceman unzipping, and that's down stage left, and then Maverick patting Goose on the shoulder, and you can hear the patting sound. I think a little bit in the center, I think, and then you hear a patting sound there. But if you get the balance levels of the LCR, you kind of very holographic sound. But it's very tricky, very tricky. You got to be really dedicated Top Gun listener, if you know what I mean. And there are not many of those. They're so cool. They say they think they're on home theaters, but do they mess and tinker around? You got to tailor every movie to a specific playback because they're like hidden Easter eggs, you know. Okay. Cut. Camera might be picking up background ambient sound on the overhead. It's not real overhead. It's fake. I can hear the guy's footstep there because that's on stage left when he's walking with the drinks. And the other thing that the DDS Neural X, because DDS, if you go back listening to, say, like, before all this Atmos crap came around, and then they started changing, you know, because they think, oh gosh, no people like that bloody, you know, they didn't quite like that, and they were favouring Dolby Pro Logic X, and, you know, it's kind of like that sort of thing, if you know what I mean. And that was just DDS and Dolby battling it back then. And then auro comes on with its bullshit, and then if you want to listen to how it sounds on the, I'll put that on in a moment. It is atrocious. It is absolutely appalling. Talk about buying something like a vintage realistic radio Tandy Shack echo chamber for a hi-fi system, like I think they call it a stereo expand. I think I've got an equalizer that's got it on that. Kind of was okay. But if you overdo it too much, then generates too much crosstalk into the other channel. It's like with the DEQ that's in my other racks. They're not powered up at the moment. It's got like a stereo expand or widen width effect, and it has to be set with a certain parameter. I think a 1-to-1 or something. But if you widen it out too far, then you get crosstalk. It starts crosstalk, left channel crosstalking into right, and so forth. It sounds like a holy bloody mess. Yeah, it's how you use it. So it's got that ability. And if you turn it right from that normal position right to that position, guess what? The sound collapses into mono. So it's kind of like a stereo mono sort of switch in some sort of way, but with variable control. So you can, and you got other parameters where you can tilt the position angle and do some other angling, because it's all frequency, alignment, phasing, blah blah, black sheep. I can just hear I want some more, but because it's passing through, like DDS came up with its own, say, like, fake version of an 8-channel, so you can use it with Laserdisc, VHS tape, yeah. So they got a side surround and back surround sort of encoder, decoder sort of thing, decoder. And it's like they're using one of their version on the you know. I can't say I ever really did favour or ever used the DTS matrix circuitry. It was always either the PL2X, because I must have done listening tests years ago and kind of thought the PL2X seems to pan the dialogue nicely around the room. So like Mission to Mars, where there's a dialogue panning around in a scene in the movie, a dialogue, in when it theatrically played, most cinemas would have heard a left and right half surround, or if a cinema would have had a Dolby SA10, you would have heard the sound going along the sides and then thermally kind of phantom imaging totally all on the speakers at the back of the room. Typical 6 usually in some cinemas, so you'd hear the sound there, you know, and then it panning down on the left, and then it snaps back to the center channel. But maybe if you listen carefully, I'll be quiet for a sec. You might hear I want more, but it's very faint. It's very faint. So if I go to DSU, then I'll go to auro and show you how shocking that sounds. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's up there. You know, the DSU is almost trying to filter it out, and you know, either way, Dolby, DDS, Auro, blah 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 blah. I'll put the Auro up mixer on the dead sound format. I'll never use it. I've got two rubbish movies. Blade Runner Part 2, totally unnecessary, garbage trash, total rubbish movie. It's not an opinion, it is totally rubbish. Totally depressing. Don't know why they made it. Oh yeah, to activate the 3D, got to go into the bloody menu, because it's got to switch on a certain parameter. Speaker, that's it. I think it's speaker configuration, because I think my amp assignment's on. I think it's configuration. No, negatory. Back up. It's amp assignment. There we go. I think it's one of these switching here, because the layout here is totally different. But it's not really a layout, it's bullshit. Everything could have been all totally put in, and all you have to do is press buttons on the AVR to go to those formats. Bam, direct. So all this is totally unnecessary. It's total bloody bullshit, and a lot of people totally believe in that bullshit, thinking you change the speaker settings from the ceiling to the bullshit. It's the same sound, all right, in Dolby Atmos. It's the same bloody sound. There's no more different in it, all right? Just because you think got speakers angled on the bloody sidewall like that, it's bullshit, all right? Go and listen. If you don't believe me, go and bloody have a bloody thorough listen. And then you're going to say, you're right, you're absolutely right, I apologise. Apology accepted. Because if you think if they were going to have something like that right, they would have had more outputs on the bloody AVR now, wouldn't they? Exactly. They would have had more outputs. So if you want speakers on the side, they would have had more bloody outputs on the bloody thing. Bloody bullshit. And especially when you use the other thing, like for the Dolby, or what do you call it, the firing it up to the ceiling sort of bullshit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've done one of those, and I think I did a frequency sweep, and you can see that weird frequency bloody oh god, it's awful. It is absolutely awful. It's been a while. I think I've got to set this to say like 8 channel. That's it, because it puts a middle speaker in the middle, even though I don't use it. That's it. Now it's activated on the auro. Should be active. Oh, there we go. Aura freed up. Look at that bloody crosstalk. I've never heard anything like it.
I want somebody's butt. I want it down my ass. I want some butt.
And I think, what the fuck's he doing up there? Huh? What the fuck's he doing up there when he's, here's the trick, right? Here's the trick that the format can't do. Or you can make it doable. You've got to do actual more plugins with outboard equipment. So basically you would take the signal outputs, yeah, and these channel, or that sound output in blah blah there, it belongs behind the screen, because it doesn't belong up here. It's out of context, the continuity of the visual. It's out here. It's like dialogue leaking out of the center channel into the surround, only not. It is terrible. And notice you don't hear any center channel leakage, because these bullshit up mixers, they're only decoding the left and right. Now, if they were to put a decoder for the left and right, a decoder for the side surround, a decoder for the back surround, so you can kind of make the 5.1, the 7.1, the 6.1, or a laser disc. Preferably, I would still use Dolby Stereo proper, for the playback. You could use that for all you fans out there and be blown away, and you can play that crap until you're bloody blue in the face. I couldn't care less. To me, it is atrocious. It's absolutely an abomination, and I'm glad Aura 3D's gone. I hope it is totally, because this is bloody rubbish. I don't know what Aura were thinking when they put this together, and thinking, it's got a horrible whooshy sound in it. So I go to another scene and pause. Hang on. I can hear a very faint, like, echo delay. It's not stopping straight away. It's got about a couple of millisecond delay on it. It's bloody awful. I've done tinkering with other formats, Pro Logic decoders, and networking them slightly differently over the years. The Iceman looks so bloody young. The Iceman. Ice baby. I even did at one time, this was with a Pro Logic 424 matrix and a 420 discrete. I think it was Grand Canyon I was having a mess with years ago, where there's a helicopter pan, goes from the center and goes into the mono matrix surround, or the mono discrete surround on the 4.0 on the DVD. And this was, I think, a little bit before Atmos and Aura and all that came out. This was bloody years ago. And what I did was networking the decoder, the Pro Logic decoder. I connected to the center channel, I think, the center channel output, and then connected it to the surround output with a Y lead or something. And then what I was trying to achieve there was an overhead sound, which I achieved. And the helicopter sort of panned out from the center, and then panned, and then gradually, and then as it's moving in the mix, in phasing and frequency, keeping level and frequency and phase and all that, blah blah. Went overhead. I can't remember what JBL I had stuck on the ceiling or suspended, because I was doing an experiment, and it went out into the back surround, and it actually worked. It went from 1 and then 2 and then 3. Simple. Because if the signal is very slow and doing panning, you'll notice it's very artistic. But if it's very quick and fast, it's like, what the heck was that I just listened to? It's like a lot of these Atmos effects sometimes in some really rubbish Atmos mixes. It's like, woof, 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 woof. Yeah, these little, like, I think, what the bloody, is that what they call objects? Because that sounds like rubbish. Fucking hell. Fuck's sake. I don't know what the bloody film movie sound industry are bloody smoking today, but whatever it is, quit bloody doing it, for God's sakes. But I think they've been doing it for 10 bloody years, so they obviously like their bloody product. When you hear other sound effects like overhead with the auro up mixer thing, where you can't really relate to its location, but if I only have to listen to the screen channel, left and right, and then I know where the original position is. And I think there's another thing on it I think you can turn on, which is bloody annoying. I think it's there it is, it's parameters and such. Medium, it's on medium. I'll set it to large. Can't really tell big difference. And there's the strength. Oh yeah, go from 10, is it? I'll take it up to 16. Oh yeah, I can hear the Iceman unzipping his jacket. But what's it doing up there when he's on screen down there, or if he'll be on screen up there? What's the bloody hell's the sound doing up there? Doesn't make sense. And I can hear Goose being patted on the shoulder. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I want somebody's butt. I want it now. I got it. I want some butt.
Bloody distracting.
I want some. I want it.
Get it off. Go to DSU. Obviously the strength of it is turned down. It hasn't got any strength. I hear it very faint there. I hear it very faint there in DSU. But with the DDS neural, and it's probably using the side surround or maybe the rear surround of the decoder, and all you got is a logic circuit inside the AVR that's switching. If you get my meaning, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, a logic circuit switch, it's probably something like that going on inside. switch to the auro again, and I'm going to turn the strength down a bit see what goes on. No, I don't want that.
I want somebody's butt. I want it now. I got it.
Turn that from 16 down to go down to 1. When I hear it turning it, I can hear a pop, 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 some sort of digital artifact going, some sort of digital noise. I can't hear a squat. There's nothing coming out of a bloody thing. Oh, hang on. I noticed a cross talk. Let me back up the scene and play it again. There's something going on. I'm sussing something out. Yeah, if I play the scene back it up and play it and reverse it, I'm hearing a kind of as if it's trying to filter or cancel something out. So I'm going to turn the strength up. Turn it up to some bullshit level. So there we go. I'll just play it. Oh, fucking, this is what I hate about this fucking Denon. I've been saying it for bloody years. This Denon's a load of rubbish, including Marantz. Their bloody software on this is bloody garbage trash. Fucking annoying. Fucking annoying. Probably missed the scene now. Turn it up to 7. It was on number 10 earlier. Got no visual. Can't see what's going on. Get rid of that. Oh yeah, it's this scene. Juggle forward. Ah, this is interesting. What was that I noticed? I heard a clicking switching. I heard a switching clicking sound. Not now, magic. Not now, magic.
I want somebody's butt. I want it now. I got it.
Yeah.
I want some butt.
It's like some sort of variable gain control. So I've got a 40-minute video that's uploading. So a bit of a rant. Looks like Tom Cruise is standing on a beer crate because he's probably only about 3 foot high. Look at the goose, you know. He's like really tall, you know. I just can't get over how the Viper looks with his freaking hair there. He looks so damn cool. He looks way cooler. Seriously, Tom Skerritt. I don't idolise on the actor, but he looks more cooler than Tom Cruise. Seriously. Why wasn't he in Top Gun 2? I can't understand. Why wasn't the Jester in Top Gun 2? Why wouldn't these two in Top Gun 2 then, huh? I mean, they'd be in wheelchairs or using a walker to move around, you know. Because they're a few years, they're probably 20 years older than him, you know, so they'll be retired. Or maybe they said, no, not interested. The script, load of rubbish. But seriously, these two actors, they seem to play it well. They really look like instructors, whereas the Top Gun 2 and the other guy that's in that appears in these other movies I've seen recently. I don't know what the actor's name is. I hardly know any of the actors because it was like Top Gun 2 was like some sort of carbon copy of Top Gun, playing the opening music, the same thing again. It's like bloody carbon copy of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, if you know what I mean. Mary Sue. No, it's like now we've got a new objective. It's this and that, and our mission is this. and that's that. And then we're going to bump off a character in the movie. You know, they probably won't make a Top Gun 3. Probably won't get there, because it would be what some people kind of not like this movie, because they say it's political, it's bullshit, it's propaganda, boost Navy sales and all that sort of bullshit. But as it was as a movie back then, because I had a different opinion, a different view of it back then, wasn't as cynical as I am now, because I'm older. You get wiser and you wake up. But at the end of the day, this is only a bloody movie, you know. It's only a movie. Anyway, end of rant.